So how is Christianity used? We talked about the fact that the beasts of the terrible blanket, these strange people that appeared before the Europeans, had introduced all the symbols and what have you that prepared people for Christianity in Africa. How was it used once the Christianity people, the Christian religion, arrived?
I will tell you, sir, from what I saw as a young child. The Christian religion, or rather the missionaries that brought it, behaved like dictators. They ill-treated our people. They humiliated them. And they stole huge tracts of land from our people using the name of Jesus Christ. I want to give you this historical fact, sir. If you go to Natal, near Durban, and you come to a place called Marian Hill, near Durban, you will find one of the biggest and one of the oldest mission schools in South Africa. Marian Hill sits on huge tracts of land. These tracts of land were stolen from the Zulu people by a missionary called Chimlet. And even to this day, the people of Marian Hill can tell you that that man was not just a missionary, he was also a crook and a pitiless exploiter of the black people. He was a monk, but he was much more than a monk. It was said that this Chimlet worshipped not God, not the Virgin Mary, but Satan himself.
So that fits like a glove from the way the Illuminati were. And the other thing that must have happened, fundamental in so many ways, is that the original knowledge, the knowledge that you carry and people like you carry, must have been destroyed, pushed underground, and basically the true story of history lost.
Yes, sir. Let me tell you what the missionaries did. The missionaries used to employ the tactic of preaching the so-called gospel to our people. And at the same time, they used to manipulate our people into partying with some of their holiest relics. Please, sir, there is in London a place that I saw near the London Docks in an obscure street. It is a heavily guarded warehouse which belongs to the British Museum of Humankind. We were allowed to visit this place when I was in London in 1970, in 1997. And there, in that warehouse, I saw cupboard after cupboard after cupboard filled with priceless African artifacts in ivory, in bronze, in various indigenous woods, and sometimes in iron and in gold. I saw royal bangles from dead kings, bangles made of brass and bronze, bangles which showed every sign that they had been removed by force from the arms of dead men and dead women. All these things, I was told, had been collected by Theophilus Chepstone and the London Missionary Society and were sent to this museum where no African is allowed to view them. I was lucky because I was accompanied by a white woman whose father, I suspect, was a Freemason. Now, let me tell you, sir, what the missionaries did also. The missionaries established hospitals in their mission station. Reverend Moffat had a hospital in that mission station. And when an African was brought there, sick unto death, the missionary used to tell this African that as a condition to his entering the hospital, he first had to be baptized as a Christian. And also as another condition for entering the hospital and receiving missionary treatment, the sick African had to surrender all artifacts from his ancestors that he had in his possession. One day, sir, my grandfather, Zig, had an accident. He had bought himself an ox wagon, but he did not know how to control it. And one day the ox wagon plunged off a cliff, and my grandfather was badly injured. And when he was taken to a mission hospital in the west of Zululand, the first thing that the missionary said to my grandfather was this, that he knew the missionary, that my grandfather owned a heap of metal objects which he kept in one of his huts, and that as a condition for receiving treatment for his broken bones, he had to surrender all that metal property to the missionary. Those things you have got in your home are full of evil spirits, said the missionary Reverend Lee. You must let me have them so that I can take them to a holy place in England where they would be destroyed. My grandfather stood up shakily and walked out of the mission hospital. He walked, and somewhere along the road he collapsed. And tribespeople who knew him took him to their village. And there, when a passing Afrikaner doctor rode by in his ox wagon, the black people asked this doctor, who was not a missionary, to please take care of my grandfather. The doctor took my grandfather aboard his ox wagon and took him to his farm far away. And there, the Afrikaner doctor, a herbalist really, as he was called, a genees Jeren, he treated my grandfather free of charge, and he didn't place any conditions for his treatment. And my grandfather, out of gratitude, returned to his village a healthy man and took 3 fat cows and led them with his sons to the faraway home of the Afrikaner doctor. Again and again, our people were robbed of their heritage. Our people were robbed of scientific equipment. Our people were robbed of irreplaceable artifacts, some of them dating back hundreds of years into the past, by the missionaries, especially the London Missionary Society. And if you go into that museum, sir, near the docks in London, you will find what I saw, and it will make you